And just like that, momentum shorts get absolutely smoked out of the order books. Remember, guys, the lesson I talked about a few days ago. Anytime somebody uses the word momentum prior to a directional bias, it's generally always FOMO. Bitcoin seeing a large correction back up into the consolidation area of around 7,000, 7,200. And by the end of this video, you'll know which way the market's going to go in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin.
I'm Naomi Brockwell for NBTV, and this is Breaking Bitcoin.
Welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live here in the Cracking Cryptocurrency studio. Today is Friday. We made it to the end of the first week of January. Not the first full week, depends on how you count. You could be pedantic, you could be semantic here. We are discussing semantics. 7 days in a week, blah, blah, blah. It's only been a few days, Justin. But come on, guys. It's going to be the first weekend of 2020. It's going to be the first opportunity for all of those resolutions that you just put on a few days ago, you know, for you to say, it's the weekend. I don't need to go to the gym on the weekends. I don't need to do back testing on the weekends. I don't need to follow my trading strategy on the weekends. It's Saturday. Let's do some 50x left. Don't do that. Stick to the resolutions. Stick to the plans. This is the year, guys. The year 2020, the year of the bull. Now, title of today's show is going to be Bitcoin price predictions revealed, taking a little bit of a page from some of our other crypto individuals out there here on the YouTubes. And by the end of this video, I am going to completely convince all of you why Bitcoin's price will hit 29,500 USD, and it might be happening faster than you think. So stay tuned. You don't want to go anywhere. Don't want to miss that. Of course, this is your daily source for market updates, sentiment, and news for traders. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic wherever you're watching us today, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, DLIVE, Facebook Live, or on Roku. With the Investor News Channel app, make sure to support the show. It's rough out here making a living on the YouTubes. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give a thumbs up if you haven't already. Links down in the description for everything you could possibly need in your life. We've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, heavy in the news is the tension coming out of the Middle East. Bitcoin's price surging on local Bitcoins over there. We've got some comments from Mike Novogratz about this entire situation. Also, obviously, the price of Bitcoin cannot be ignored, with a little Jericho movement coming up from the $6,800 region, vanquishing millions in liquidations off of the books in a short period in time, which just tells me, as somebody who sits here and watches order flow, some people just have far too much money to be thrown around once in a while. But anyways, still overall low liquidity market. But the volume coming in on Bitcoin today is tremendously exciting. It's good to see rising volume and rising open interest. We're going to look at all of that as well, of course. And we're also going to be talking about the Lightning Network. We got an update on the Lightning Network and Telegram. Yes, Telegram. How many of you guys got excited about the Telegram ICO? Potentially some of you in the audience invested in the TON ICO. Well, are you familiar with the controversy surrounding such a thing? We're going to break that down and talk about that today as well. Before we get into all of that, I want to thank the sponsor of today's show, Coygo. Our friends over at Coygo have developed a turnkey solution to managing multiple exchange accounts simultaneously and conveniently from the privacy and security of your desktop machine. No longer do you need to go to the internet, to a web-based application. You can utilize Coygo's application directly on your desktop, securing your API keys if you choose to use them directly on your local machine where they are encrypted and your responsibility. They don't touch Coygo's servers. You can manage your Bittrex account. You can manage your Binance account. Many other exchange accounts are going to be supported as well. Exchange funds between accounts as quickly as you can. Therefore, you can take advantage of arbitrage spreads. You get custom charts, custom order book analysis, and it's all for free because their app is in the beta phase. You guys can go to coygo.crackingcryptocurrency.com to download a free version of their application. Tell them Justin sent you. It's a pretty awesome app. I enjoy using it. And they're open for feedback. So if there's something that you guys want added to it, you tell them and they'll tell you if that is feasible or not. But coygo.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Check out their free app. And before we get into today's show, a word from our sponsor.
Do you trade cryptocurrencies on multiple exchanges? Coygo is here to help. View real-time insights, including trade analysis, order book superiority, arbitrage scanning, and more. No API keys required. Want to trade, transfer between wallets, or track your portfolio across exchanges? No problem. Just connect your API keys. They're only stored securely on your machine. Coygo servers never have access to your cryptocurrency accounts. Sign up now at coygo.app.
All right, I also want to thank today's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, Spectre Security Coin. You can check them out at spectresecurity.io. And we are going to be giving away 8,000 XSPC today. Let's load a comment from yesterday's video. Only 4 comments, and I spent so much time on the intro. Randomly picking a winner. Love you guys. Crypto Caveman once again, and a comment on the intro. Highly appreciated, my friend, lolling and asking if we can get an intro like that every day. I am working on it, my friend. Get a hold of me in the Discord, and I will set you up with 8,000 XSPC, my friends. If you guys would like to participate, then just leave a comment on the YouTubes at yt.crackingcryptocurrency.com after today's video. Tell us what you learned. Tell us what you want to see. We do it for the lols. All right, getting over into today's market sentiment. And of course, let's do some roll call. You know what? I'm a little lost. I don't even know where I am. Let's go over to, I got to pull up the chat here somewhere. Don't have today's chat pulled open. Working on it. Let me know how you guys are doing in the Discord or in the live chat. Give me a sound off. Here we go. There's something. There's something I can utilize. Booyah. All right, GBU, Professor Wally, what's up, my friend? Dark Rico, we got Vashon in the house, Ricky Thompson over there on DLIVE, Ferguson, Ron Legato, Jap, Agency is back. Let's get this money. Mr. Dubatot Ebrius. We've got Gravy over there on Twitch. Good morning, my friend. DIY guy. Ricky asks if I have a backup plan if we ever get blocked on YouTube. Yep, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, and Roku on the Investor News Channel app. DIY guy, I did not get a chance to look at your DMs, my friend. I will do so after the show. Gravy says, yo, man, I just wanted to say thank you. I took a long last night at 68.83, took profits at 7, 71, 72, 73. Woke up to nice profits, and I'm very grateful for your input on laddering out. Thank you, man. MT Coiner, aloha to you. Forza World, hodl gang. Cryptonomics, Wayne. Crypto Slice of Life. We got a lot of good people in the chat today. Exciting. Mr. QC. All right. ETH1, David Rice, Ben, Mr. Kirkland. Good to see you, my brother. Wendy says, Justin, what broker do I use for traditional markets? What does commission-free mean with TD Ameritrade? It means you don't pay commission. Usually it used to be, in the olden days, you'd pay about $7.50 per trade, in and out. That's on top of anything else that you're going to pay. Spread fees, blah, blah. But you would pay brokerage fees, commission fees from the broker. And brokers have gotten rid of that. Obviously, TD Ameritrade being absorbed by Mr. Charles Schwab. So I would recommend Charles Schwab for most individuals. To be honest, it's one of the biggest brokers out there. They've got excellent research facilities. They've got a great online application. You can use a lot of interfaces to trade on them. Obviously, NinjaTrader is really popular. MetaTrader is really popular, but I hate MetaTrader. I just hate MetaTrader, to be honest with you. I've used it. I used it for a long time, but it's just such a dinosaur, man. And so many people like it and think it's neat, and it's not. Prove me wrong. Definitely change my mind. You know what I mean? That's what I should say. Not prove me wrong. Change my mind. Always willing to have my mind changed, but don't believe so on that one. I like Charles Schwab. I use a Wanda. I just trade directly on a Wanda. They've got a good downloadable platform. Of course, you can use MetaTrader on them, NinjaTrader, whatever you want. And Charles Schwab and Robinhood. I pick up stocks on both Charles Schwab and Robinhood. Crypto Rick, not Pickle Rick, says, what requirements would I need to tick off to be full-time spot long on Bitcoin again? Price is going to have to be above 8,000. Talked about that before. I'll swing long from 7.5 to 8. And if price closes convincingly on the weekly above 8K, then I'll be spot long on Bitcoin. I will hold that hedge all the way up, baby. There are a few other things that could change my mind. We'll go into that. But let's get to the markets today, guys. Let's get to the markets today. We've got some, obviously, we got some exciting stuff to talk about. Look at those candles. Look at those candles. Last night, Bitcoin briefly consolidated around the new point of control that formed right around 69.45. 69.45, we had that final spring down. Price actually reached a low on Coinbase of 68.54. Not our last take profit. So let me rephrase that. So you guys are well aware of the trade that I was in yesterday. Had originally shorted from 72.11. That was several days ago. That went all the way down to 7,100, came back up to 72.40. We were here live watching that. I was in drawdown for that period when we were above 72.11. And then I held my short open and was able to take profit all the way down. We took profit at 7, at 69 and 68.70. So we nearly caught the bottom on the take profit. Now that was 75% of the position scaled out. I had aggressively moved my stop down to 71.50 as well on that trade. And my final take profit where I was looking to scale out was down at 66, which would have been kind of the bottom of the overall range. And we looked at volatility expander. We also looked at the Bollinger Bands. We looked at a few other things to determine that volume resistance there as well. VPVR support, not resistance. But that wasn't to be. It wasn't to be. We weren't destined to go down there on this position. So price reversed. I ended up obviously exiting with a stop market order at 71.50, the last 25% of my position. And then I was just mostly flat. Not mostly flat, 100% flat, except for my hedge short, which is still in profit. My hedge short is a little bit above 7,500, a little bit above 7,500. And today, as I kind of woke up, I kind of had a late start to today's trading session. I woke up, checked the altcoins that I'm trading, looked at Bitcoin, saw obviously the rally. I was aware of it happening last night, but didn't want to drag my, people called me last night as I was preparing for slumber. And they're like, look at what Bitcoin's price is doing. Nothing to do. It's not my trade. Stop loss is there. I'm going to bed and we'll figure it out in the morning. That just lets you know, like, you can't let Bitcoin is a 24/7 market, but if you as a trader allow its gyrations to kind of push you off of your square, out of your personal cycle, you're not doing yourself any favors. I say this over and over and over again. There's a lot of neat trades that you can catch if you want to exhaust yourself and lose all form of typical discipline. So I go to bed on time and I wake up on time. That's it. And I'm profitable consistently. It's just one of the many things that help. It's one of the many things that help. Having a good bedtime routine, having a good morning routine, having good tasting coffee, appreciating your life, spending time with your family. All these things are necessary. I think these things are really necessary and overlooked by many analysts here on YouTube, Twitter, professional financial institutions, what have you. In my experience with traditional brokers, when you get prop traders in, they like to work you to the bone. And it's often a very unfulfilling job. That's why you can that's what we do with PTP. That's what differentiates the way that we trade, or the way that I teach people to trade in the group. That's what differentiates us from a lot of individuals that are running around nowadays, because the primary focus here is consistency and patience. The primary goal here is consistency and patience, and letting the trade come to you and realizing psychologically that not every trade is your trade, and you will not benefit yourself to attempt to make trades that aren't your trades. Let me rephrase that. Let me repeat that. Hunting for trade setups, or trying to catch setups that are not in your wheelhouse, might be successful in the short term, but long term, it will have negative effects on your overall profitability, on your overall mentality, on your overall psychology, and you if you want, you can be like many of the bright stars that I've seen. I have seen so many young guys come into crypto, come into Forex, come into stocks. And you know what? They're hot. They want it. They got the fever. They got the passion. And they are just trading 24/7 as often as possible. They just live, breathe, sleep, take the charts into the bathroom with them. I might be guilty of that on occasion. But the point is, they don't have the balance in their lives. They don't have the balance in their lives. And typically after about 6 months to a year, they're spent. They're spent. They're dejected. Usually this accompanies loss or precedes loss. This can either follow or precede large losses, which come from lack of strategy and focus. And another thing that I think differentiates what we do, an emphasis on risk management, which most of these guys just don't. Like, risk what? 50x? Let's go, baby. Anyways, I digress. So if that's the lifestyle that you want, if you want to burn bright like a diamond and then fade away into oblivion, like most traders do, that's there. Stay up late. Stay up until 2 a.m. charting. Or you want to be like a professional trader, go to bed on time, wake up on time, have a routine, maybe research financial minimalism. An idea? Maybe actual real minimalism. Get rid of all your shoes. One pair of shoes. All right. But we got an exciting market. So let's start this off with just a brief thing. You know, Bitcoin's in a ranging environment right now. So there's a lot of people that are just going to be watching the charts right now. They're confused. They're like, is it going up? Is it going down? It's freaking ranging, guys. It's not that complicated. Reversion to the mean. We talked about the reversion to the mean trade setup yesterday. I pointed that out. I don't want to say I recommended that people take it, but I talked about the validity of both the breakdown short, which we were already in. Actually, no, that's not right. It wasn't a breakdown short. A breakdown short would have needed confirmation, and we weren't getting the confirmation that we needed. The reversion to the mean trade was on the table, and we talked about the possibility of a breakdown short should your system agree. Of course, I'm not operating your system, so that would have to depend on what your indicators told you. The reversion to the mean trade was the banger. That was the good trade to put on. That's not the trade that I took. I was already in my primary position. I have excess risk to the downside. I'm now flat. Actually, I have risk on. So we'll get to that in a second. I've taken 2 trades this morning, one of which I'm currently in right now. I was already in my short trade. I liked it. Price reversed to the upside. Hit my stop at 71.50. I made quite a decent profit on that trade. And again, the jubilations of the premium group kind of echoing across the Bitcoin range in the Bybit order book, in the Bybit brawl. Now, here on Bitcoin right now, what I've done this morning is I went down to the hourly and I utilized a pretty simple trend following strategy, intraday strategy that I have taught before and that I've utilized a lot. So down here on the hourly, we're just going to pull out 2 things. Just need 2 things. That's the 21 and the 55 exponential moving average. Now you can feel free to do this with other moving averages. That's totally fine. You can do this with different smooth types of moving averages. You can do this with hulls. You can do this with SMAs, simple moving averages. But I do prefer the exponential moving averages. So on the hourly time frame, we're looking for the 1355 to kind of initiate the bullish cycle, the bullish trend, tell us to be trading to the upside, for example. And then we use pullbacks to those areas to enter in. And if we get an hourly close below that level, that trade setup is invalidated and we've switched direction. Now, one nice thing about this is that you need discretion. You need a volatility filter. You need a volume filter to tell you when this is valid and when this is not, because things begin to trend and things begin to move volatilely with high volatility, when there's volume that comes into the market. And we saw oodles and poodles of volume come into the market. So this is valid. So I do have some entries at 7,200 and 7,160. Actually, these numbers kind of keep creeping up. I'll look for those for entries into the long. That trade might be invalidated. Keep in mind, I'm still operating under the guise of a hedge short. Okay. But I don't like longing tops. I don't like longing big green candles. Let the trade come to you. But the one thing that I did do is I saw us breaking above the point of control. So this is on the hourly. This was right over here. So I did long the breakout of 7,300. Not a big position. It was about 60,000 contracts. I saw that spike up, got rejected, and formed this kind of point of control. Obviously, this previous extended point of control, right? This is where we currently rejected from. We talked about this point of control all week, actually. We've talked about multiple points, the untapped points of control. This one right here, this baby right here, and this baby right here. And then, of course, we've got our kind of median zone right here around 7,200. That's where we were originally short from. That's a breakdown trade. So we've popped up, we have rejected currently, and we are currently distributing, i.e. consolidating, underneath that upper point of control right there. Breakout to the upside would typically mean a move to the next point of control above that, which is coming in right around 7,600. It's a little bit below that. It's about 7,550. This is the Coinbase chart. So make a few dollar adjustments for the exchange that you're trading on and understand that the futures exchanges are going to have a little bit of outsized volatility. So those movements can wick a little bit higher, wick a little bit lower. But currently consolidating between these 2 points of control, tightened up really quickly. The daily point of control is beneath us, seeming to argue that we have found a little bit of support on that. So one way to trade it would be trading bounces off of that. If you're just kind of trading price action and volume by price here, that's VPSV scalping. But I do like the area. This is the previous point of control that we broke above previously. I really would like to catch a pullback to that. I think that's the better, more patient entry for the long trade today. Looking to take price up to about 7,600, seeing if we can scrape the top of the range, and then we'll kind of make our decision. Now, that's the trade that I already took. I already took the breakout trade from 7,300. When I saw us reject, so I was watching order flow, saw us reject, and I saw the big sell orders come into the market, the aggressive order flow, and the volume is fantastic today. You know, we're used to looking at like 1.3K per hour. This is more like 24,000 Bitcoin being traded per hour. This is fantastic, guys. The volume's dying down now over the last hour. And you can see that the candles have gotten smaller. Oh, excuse me. This current candle is smaller because now there is a battle. There is a battle to see if bulls want to push price up or bears want to push price down. So probably the safest place right now is to be out or short, which I am right now. So I took the long trade from 7,300. Price came back down pretty quickly. I got out with a limit at 73.66. 73.66, and I put into my short, and I was short from 73.57. So I've kind of wiffle waffled over the last hour, in profit, out of profit, in the green, out of the green. And my invalidation was 73.86, not a hard stop. That would be insane. Right now, I'd like to see an hourly close above that overhead resistance point of control / order block. That's how I'm going to be playing that out today, intraday. Again, still kind of looking for those bids up to the upside with the entries at the 21 hourly EMA and the hourly 55 EMA. So all good stuff, all pretty simple, standard, thoroughfare stuff, patient intraday trading. Don't really have a strong, not that I don't really have, there's none. We're ranging. We haven't gotten the significant breakout or breakdown yet. So there's no long-term directional bias except for my original long-term directional bias, which is to the downside. There are a few interesting things happening, which I've talked about before. Let's see if we can find the right one. Yeah, if we take a look at BitMEX funding, what is really interesting is that BitMEX funding almost turned negative. And a long reason for that is that an outsized number of shorts entered into the market. So the most logical idea for those who are looking for an explanation of what price is, and again, you know, what's interesting about this is that we do have some fundamental, like news-driven events here. Obviously, we have the tension and the situation going on over in the Middle East, in Iran, with the United States and Iran. We have the fact that the price of Bitcoin on the Iranian local Bitcoin soared to ridiculous levels. And, you know, I always view news events as justifications for what the market movers wanted to do anyways. So if you kind of put these two facts together that I'm not going to name any names, but one of my students sent me a screenshot last night of a Telegram signal group, and price was, I think, like 60, like 920 or something like that. And his signal was momentum shorting, price is breaking down, we're going down. And, you know, it's funny. He then followed that message up with, well, you know what that means, buddy. We need to go ahead and close this short trade of ours, even though it's mostly closed, and we need to go long right now. And I laughed and I was like, yeah, that sounds funny. And he was right. So shout out to you, my friend. You had a killer kind of concept there. New idea now. Counter trading Telegram signal providers of cryptocurrency signals. But so all the kind of all the groundwork was already laid yesterday, as we saw a lot of new shorts being put in very close to that market bottom. And then if we look at the 4 hour, let's go back to our Bitcoin chart. If we look at the 4 hour here, Bam. Really nice hammer candle. There was a ton of sell volume on that candle. It was a very high volume candle. We can see that right there. So again, big volume candle, big volume reversal candle, and then the break to the upside. Well positioned. A lot of stop losses have now been triggered. Pretty much everybody that shorted the bottom has been smoked and liquidated, but everybody that bought this lower hand range has been liquidated as well. And that's all we've kind of seen. We've just seen price range back and forth, lackadaisically. So let's get volatility expander on here. Volatility expander. Let's get the EMAs off of here. And so volatility expander is going to, again, we closed below the lower boundary. And if you were watching something like a 1 hour or a 2 hour, then potentially you could have caught it, maybe the 30-minute. When price comes back up, you'll want the 4 hour or daily volatility expander. If we look at volatility expander on the daily, what did we do? Yep, we came right down, traded outside of it, closed below, and bought back up. As I said, I think the proper mechanism with volatility expander and with these reversion to the mean strategies is on the daily, if you close below, you typically want to aggressively buy. Just like you can just see that over and over and over again. You don't really get a chance, kind of the base. So the basic concept of reversion to the mean is once price closes out, you're looking to buy, and then you wait until price comes back inside and closes inside. But on the daily, that's not really tenable. You can't really do that. Price just moves too fast. And then you're just entering into a trade right in the middle of the range, which is right where we are right now. Keep in mind. That's why, trades, as far as like, oh, this is the breakout movement, this is the beginning of the bullish breakout. Well, it definitely could be, because if we view this on the perspective of the daily, it does seem like the bulls are defending this area very well. If we go back over to 2018, bulls kind of did the same thing, right? They did not want price to go below, at that point, 5.9 thousand. This would be slightly bullish, us holding a slightly higher level, 6.9 thousand, 6.6 thousand. But just be really cautious with those big long-term predictions of 20K and expecting to get resolution out of this range. If you're patient and if you wait and you let the trade come to you, you use simple trend following strategies on the daily time frame, you're going to catch the big moves. You catch the big moves if you're just patient and you wait. And so I think that people screaming for the moon just off of one big green bullish candle, when typically for the last few months, big green bullish candles immediately get sold into. Then we get a stop hunt, and then they really get sold into. I think it's stretching a little bit. It's pretty exciting. I'm a huge, I love Bitcoin. I'm a big investor in Bitcoin, so I always love seeing these big green candles. But does this equal moon? No, not really, not yet. And nothing's been invalidated as far as the higher time frames, the weekly, the monthly. For downside targets here. So we'll see. Hear a lot of people talking about this as a head and shoulders. Doesn't really look like a head and shoulders whatsoever to me. I think that's quite ugly, but I digress. Let's look at volume profile here real quick, and then we'll kind of get on with today and see what questions you guys have. Volume profile, visible range. And that's too non-granular. Let's make that granular. Okay. So again, utilizing something like volatility expander, we can see that we're right in the middle of the range. Typically not a good place to be putting on trades. You want confirmation that the actual trend is going to be bullish. You have so many tools that you can utilize for that. And none of them are really agreeing with us right now. So let's use that simple concept of the 21 exponential moving average and the 55 exponential moving average. And look at the daily time frame. What would that look like? Well, what has been the optimum shorting area? Area between the 21 and the 55. Where are we at again? Between the 21 and the 55. Getting rid of that. Bring on volatility expander again. Middle of the range. Generally not the most opportune area to put on a reversion to the mean trade. So those of you who want to continue with reversion to the mean, you're going to be patiently waiting for price above 7,500, or you're going to be waiting for price below 6,900. That's it. Those are your opportunities. Those are your reversion to the mean entries. For me, I actually am going to be looking for that breakout trade. A little bit of a, excuse me. Let's bring up time transformation. Hopefully I can show you guys this. And loading. Okay, yeah. So no divergence on time transformation. Just just confirming the high or low. Had our hidden bearish divergence here on the daily. Didn't get oversold on this region. Again, just tapping the bottom, the lower part of the volatility range and bouncing back on some high volatility. So still, I've talked about this before. The breakout trade that I am looking for is above 7.5. I'll take that to 8K. And the justification for that is going to be over here on the weekly time frame. Let's bring back our EMAs. Where is that overhead resistance? At 78.05, tertiary baseline at 81.67. On the futures, price might do a little bit better than that and break that area. And as you can see here on the weekly, it is still extremely ugly. Breaking down below the weekly 55 exponential moving average, consolidating underneath overhead resistance, typically not a good thing. Symmetrical movement typically continues price in the direction in which it was currently trading. And of course, let's not forget the most important thing of all, guys, and that is going to be the baseline weekly crossover. It is coming. It is coming. That weekly 13 crosses under that weekly 55. That is the continuation short signal. Let's see here. Overall, shaping up to be, again, it's the third day of the month, so there's really not even any point to looking at this, but the monthly is turning bullish. However, not on the Heikin-Ashi scale. Let's see here. Yeah, that's about it. Also, obviously pay attention. This is time transformation on the monthly. Sell signal, buy signal. Nothing so far right here. It is going to give us a trending bearish signal, though, whereas Minx already gave us that on the previous month, as did Wadatar Explosion. So overall, that's pretty much it, guys. Just looking for intraday volatility. As you can see here, I've got time. So you actually didn't see it, but actually my intraday chart that I'm actually using, this is just my streaming charts, does have time transformation set up. So pretty simple, pretty basic. Nothing that any of the premium members should be struggling with. Let's go. I wonder if these charts look a little whack to you guys? Been doing this for a minute now. Yeah. There we go. That's better. That's just off just a little bit. And time transformation caught this really good on the hourly as well. We had regular bullish divergence here, followed up with more regular bullish divergence here on this candle. You would have got that signal right here on this candle. And boom, off to the races. So it caught the bullish movement and it sold the top. Beep, beep. Pretty darn good trade. And you would just be, if we kind of look, we are potentially going to be looking at, we already got some regular bearish divergence right here. We are kind of, if we look, as we can see, we are making a little bit of we are making higher highs, but time transformation is making lower highs currently. So it hasn't made any high yet because it needs two candles. You always need two candles with a divergence indicator. So be a little patient. Let's go look over at Crypto Bubbles, taking a wider look at the market. USD value. Oh, and it's an altcoin delight. Altcoin delight. I mean, everything up just boom, and Bitcoin trash up amazingly. Bitcoin, I don't got a good one for that. Bitcoin SV. Scammers Vision. Yeah, Bitcoin Scammers Vision up 10% as well. Ren up 5.4. I am trading Ren. Let's see. Why does it seem like all the coins I'm trading aren't big bubbles? Come on, guys. We'll find them. Yeah, Ren. Holochain. And I digress. Just kidding, guys. Let's go over and look at sensor charts, see what the books look like, see what kind of information we got. So as you can see, here's the counter ratio. I mean, we were dealing with like right here, we were dealing with like 24,000, Bitcoin on the buy side and like 19,000 on the sell side. It was gorgeous to see. Absolutely beautiful to see. Did we get any of that beautiful delta divergence? Yeah, look at that. Delta divergence calling the bottom again over here on tensor charts and then calling the top. Man, do yourself a favor. Get that Indy on your chart, guys. Calling it twice. Look at that. Bink, 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 bink. Right where time transformation called the regular bullish divergence on the hourly. And right where time transformation gave you the sell signals on the hourly. Just beautiful, man. Just beautiful. So bears have taken control over the last hour or so. As we can see, we're kind of consolidating. We've done a few stop loss hunts here. Let's take a look at the book, see where they're chunking up. Let's make this less precise. Yeah, overall, the buy wall has been moved up aggressively to 7,200, 7,100. We'll see about that. If we kind of zoom this out, we can see where the largest chunk of volume is right now at 7,420. You know, you guys, you know who I'm talking to. And we really only have the biggest chunking up of the order book right here around 7,200, 7,170. So we'll wait until they get tapped. Taking over and looking at order flow right now, we can see that over the last hour, actually, there have been bigger market sells, a more aggressive initiation to the short side. Volume delta is currently negative. Volume is tapering off as well. You only need a cursory glance if you were just paying attention to the counters ratio to watch that. Falling volume, if price is moving up, is not a good thing. Falling volume while price is moving down is also not a good thing. And that's for the bulls. That's for the bulls. But this is to be expected after a big rally to the upside. It's going to be some big consolidation. So is there always the possibility that all of a sudden we just see 10, 20, 30 million buy orders flash on the books? Yeah, of course that could happen. And you kind of want to respond maybe. And if you're following order flow, you can respond aggressively. Or you can just say, wow, we just got two big moves. Price is probably going to cool off for a little bit. So let's see if we hold this area. Obviously, a lot of shorts got smoked, so great liquidity opportunities for institutional order flow to reshort the market. I think that's probably the smartest idea. I think that, again, short is always the best. Short is always the best idea when we're ranging, and we've been coming down for a long time. Because if you're wrong and this is the market bottom, you're still trading in the overall direction of the trend because the new bullish trend hasn't emerged yet. So, when in doubt, short, right? If the trend, which Bitcoin has been in a bearish trend, if the overall trend is short, and you're ranging, short's generally the safer trade, right? I've definitely made more money shorting Bitcoin than longing it over the last few months. So, and then that'll change definitively, and you'll know, right? You can just have an exponential moving average or a moving average on your chart, and you only trade in that direction. We have an indicator that tells you now the market is bullish, and you only trade in that direction. And you just stick to that, man. That's one of the simplest things that you guys can do to increase your win-loss ratio. Okay. Blaze it. Hold on. I have a 2-year-old. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I have a 2-year-old daughter who is piss and vinegar. And so our new thing right now is Rick and Morty trap remixes. She loves Rick and Morty trap remixes, and she loves to dance, right? So she does the funniest dances. She just comes up to me and she's like, "Daddy, dance." I'm like, okay. Like she's commanding me. And that means she wants the music on. So we put the music on. We dance to a lot of different stuff, but lately she likes that. And so we'll start dancing, and I dance like a typical white guy. And she dances by like troll stepping to the left and the right with pronounced movements. That's the most hilarious thing. And anyways, so then after she does that for a while and shakes her booty for a while, she'll want picked up. So I pick her up, and she wants to just kind of fly and dance and all that kind of stuff, right? It's a good workout, by the way. For those of you parents out there with kids who aren't finding good time to go to the gym, take advantage of the little pleasures that a little 20 or 30 pound toddler offer you. They want to be carried around. Do some squats. You know what I'm saying? Go jogging, holding your toddler in your arms. That's great strength. Like people, that sounds silly, but I'm being serious. Like the kids love it, and you get a workout. So that's what I do that all the time. Like I'll pick my daughter up. You know, kids love to be like thrown up in the air. Well, shoulder presses are good for you. So I'll just do the whole, you know, I raise my toddler up. She loves it. I smile at her as she's coming down. I push her back up. It's awesome. It's awesome. And I get a good shoulder workout. But I think I overdid it last night because my shoulders are killing me. You know what's not killing me? You know what's not killing the premium group members? Bitcoin's price. Oh, of course, like, you know, it could have been trap, it could be dubstep. You know, kids love you know, high energy music, right? Kids love high energy music. So it doesn't really matter. Okay, moving right along. We've got a lot to cover. I think we'll wait until I think we can we're going to wait until after the first break to cover the news. Like I said, we're going to be talking about why Bitcoin's price will reach 29,500. Please don't be mad at me, guys, when I tell you guys. Please don't be. The toddler squat is an ancient dad secret. Yes. Yep. Yep. Hold her in my arms. Up, down, up, down. She loves it. And it's good for me too. Especially because I'm transitioning to a standing desk. Potentially I'll be transitioning the show to standing because I think better when I stand. Do all my good work standing up. I write my videos standing up. I write my script standing up. I write my educational material standing up. I mentor standing up. So this desk over here, the desk that I work at, that's a standing desk. And I just need to get the stuff in place to, well, I need a taller tripod is really what I need for that camera. Okay. You know, Liquid never sends any trades, so let's just disable Liquid. There we go. And Bitfinex off. Excuse me. There we go. Now we don't got that annoying thing at the top of the screen. Bouncing at me like a Jack Russell Terrier. All right. Dubitat Ebrius, he says, sorry, man. Sorry, I missed the tip. Thank you so much, my friend. The £5, my buddy. He says, Justin, how do you set multiple VPVR models on your charts? I have just one. Okay, so this is going to be, this is not VPVR. It's called Volume Profile Session Volume. VPVR is Volume Profile Visible Range. So we're just going to go into our Indicator and Strategies tab on TradingView. Go into Volume Profile, and you can select either Fixed Range, which looks like this, by the way. It's a drawing tool. You click and you drag, and then you have a fixed volume profile for just whatever you selected. So it's from low to high and as far right, left and right. So that's neat. That's handy. But then you obviously have visible range, which is going to look at the volume profile of whatever visible range you're looking at. And that's neat. And I often will use it in conjunction with VPSV. And VPSV is going to track the volume profile as it evolves every session. And a session is a day. So you can see like there's a blue box, right? And you can see that and it has its own point of control and the volume profile for that session. And then you have this next blue box and it has its own volume profile and point of control and all that stuff. So this is yesterday, this is today, right? So you can see how they evolve over time. There's a lot of neat tools. So you can look at You can look at developing point of control as the point of control develops. So you could see intraday where the buyers actually came into the market, which is very, very helpful for tracking like where you'd like to get back in or what areas likely will stand as supply and demand, support and resistance. Developing value areas, so you can see overall like where all the volume was transmitted, so you can see what areas are less relevant or where stop losses are likely to occur. But I do recommend that you do this. This thing is awesome. Extend the point of control to the right, and that will show you. It'll just take points of controls and extend them to the right until they're tapped, right? And when they're tapped, that means that, you know, a lot of liquidity came in here. So we'll see what happens when price goes back down there. Usually it bounces, right? Usually represents good entries or good targets. A lot of different ways, a lot of different fun little strategies to utilize like this. So let's check out chat here for a few minutes before I go to. We're gonna take a brief little break, and then we'll go to we'll cover the news. There's some news I want to talk about. Oh, and by the way, guys, if any of you guys want to check out some of these indicators that I've mentioned, a lot of the indicators that I talked about are, of course, going to be proprietary. You guys can gain access to them in the group. But for example, EMA, the Kraken cryptocurrency EMA, you guys can use that script. It's public. Wadatar explosion, you can use that script. Volume profile, session volume, all of these are on TradingView. You guys can check out our page on TradingView, tv.krakencryptocurrency.com. There's a link to it in the description below. You can see the charts we've posted. You can see the indicators that we've published as well. And yeah, TradingView is what it is. MetaTrader's garbage. Let's see here. Wayne Arndt says, take a look at Zcash. I will, sir, I will. $2020, the year of perfect hindsight. Thank you, Philip. Over 7,000 subs here on YouTube. Yes, I do not like Thinkorswim. Justin, are there any pros or cons for utilizing the desktop app versus web app on Awanda? Not really. I think it just comes down to, you know, what you prefer. Honestly, I would recommend playing with both of them. You know, so I find myself using the web app a little bit more. You know, it's just easier for me to do. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with their desktop app, and I like their mobile. I think their mobile app is great. So. Third Eye Trader dropping knowledge. Justin, thank you, my friend. Like a Ty Lopez video up in here. Knowledge. Wayne Arndt says, Justin, I appreciate your life tips just as much as your TA tips, and your life tips often blend into TA tips as well. Yeah, trading and thinking go together quite often, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. I love Rihanna, says Crypto Slice of Life. My friend used to burn himself out all the time, and while he makes a tiny bit less money now, he's much happier and lives a fulfilling life now. He used to trade 15 hours a day every day. Yeah. Me too, man. Me too. And I'm good. I'm good on that. Ricky says, waiting for the price to go higher for my short, about 100, 150 away. So looking for the entry right around 7,500. Yeah, so basically you're targeting this upper point of control. Good. That's nice and patient. Momentum short, Phil San says. Kimbo Mad Slice. I stream Monday through Friday, my brother. Boris, could I provide my views on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange chart? If we maintain this level, will be the first time we close above the 21 EMA since November 4th. Let's go to the... Why don't I have the... I know I have it over... Yeah, here's the CME chart. I'm talking about the daily. November 4th. Oh. We closed above the 20 EMA here on the 23rd of December. Let's go look at what it looks like when we're coming out of consolidation. So we close above, fail, close above, fail, close above, pull back, push, rejection from the 55, consolidation, 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 breakout. The 1355 occurred right over here, I think. So we got something kind of similar. We did obviously close above the 21 EMA here, gapped up on the big Jericho candle. That's a tough call, man. Closing above the 21 is not my initiation signal. It seems a little bit more hit and miss than I'd like. And we close above here, we get a run. Do we close above right there? We don't. Close above here, immediate rejection. Jaws of the crocodile pattern that I've talked about a lot. Yeah, we close above, and there's a big gap, but I mean, wasn't a swing long. Typically what I always like to see, regardless, I mean, it depends on the duration of your trade. Like, if you're banking on, oh, we closed above, let's hopefully we can get another pop. That's fine. I can kind of get behind that trade. We see that a lot, right? We see that a lot. But as far as like, you mentioned this will be the first time that we close above since November 4th. I actually don't see the data to back that up. But regardless, the idea is like, are we looking for genuine trend flipping? Are we actually looking to come out? Because I think that's the question on everybody's mind. Like, what can we point at to say, okay, this is the bottom of the market, and we're gonna go, to moon based off of this, right? Because there's only, you guys know this. You guys trade Bitcoin like I do. There's only two directions. We're either heading toward the moon or we're heading toward absolute doom. All right. There's no market structure in between. It's just, we're either heading toward the moon, guys, slow and steady, like a magnet, or we're just careening off the tracks. I don't think it would be closing above the 21. No, I think that, the 1355 crossover would be okay. The 2155 crossover is pretty good on the daily. Obviously, you're going to get in earlier if you trade if you just trade the close above, but you're going to get a lot of false signals. So it just depends on whatever my moon looks really like angry or depressed. If these are the eyes and that's like a pimple, yeah, my moon looks like really depressed. It's like a sad moon. Look, because I drew moon at 10,000. Oh, no wonder it's a sad moon. For real, it's a sad moon. But I digress. What you would really like to see, and what I think is a much better argument, is BPC. or a rounded retest, right? So here, when we close above the 21, we do boop, 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 break, so this is not really a rounded retest. You can argue it either way. It depends on your definition. We're talking semantics here, but we break, we pull back, and then we continue. And we never really close below the 21 in a significant way. We don't never open and close, certainly below that. Same thing, pull back to the 21, continuation, pull back to the 21, pull back to the 21, continuation, pull back to the 21, nice try, screw you. All right, and we can see the difference here. See, look, so after that, look, this is why I like 21.55 pullbacks, right? That's why I like it on the hourly too. It's really, really good. When you are in a bullish trend, 21.55 tend to act as good bounce points, right? You can come up, these numbers aren't magic. They're just good. A lot of people utilize them. So self-fulfilling prophecy, good TA, call it whatever you want. They work. They make me money. But you can see that once that trend breaks and we don't bounce and we close below, look what happens now every other time we get back above the 21. Do we get that same kind of behavior where we pull back and bounce, pull back and bounce? No. Look, we close above here. We don't pull back. We continue running. And that traps a lot of people in long positions, right? It's a trick. And price moves down. Look what happens over here. We close above the 21. We don't keep running here. We do pull back, but we don't bounce. We just close below, but that traps a lot of people. Okay, very similarly, right? Look, we close above the 21. A lot of people get trapped. A lot of people get trapped because they think that this is, whatever. And price moves down, right? Right here, we close above the 21. This traps a lot of people. That's a bear wick right there, and people get trapped. So, I mean, literally every example that I've pointed out is people getting trapped on a close above the 21. You need, I think, the better strategy is break and the pullback, right? And keep in mind that just as we pointed out over here, if you would have waited for that, well, guess what? You would have missed out on this trade right here. You would have missed out on that trade. You close above here and price does run from 10 to 12.3. So you missed that. But you don't get trapped. You don't die. And you would have missed out on this. You would have missed out on this loss. And you might have missed off on the second leg of the Jericho candle, right? Which was pretty impressive. Price went from 87.50 to 10K. But you wouldn't have gotten trapped, right? Break, pullback, continuation. Never let you down. We're going to take a quick break, guys. If you are enjoying the show, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe over there on YouTube. You might not even know this, but if you got Amazon Prime, then you can subscribe over there on Twitch for $0. Works out for you. Works out for us. Jeff Bezos gets to support yet another cryptocurrency content creator. Good for everybody, guys. So if you got Twitch Prime, if you got Amazon Prime, that's a free Twitch subscription for you guys. And if we get enough of you guys, we'll do something super special for you guys over there on Twitch. We'll do a private stream. Otherwise, if you guys want links to anything I talked about, they're in the description down below. Let me know your questions, your comments, or concerns in the chat, and I'll get to it when I come back. When we return from the break, why Bitcoin's price will hit $29,500 in 2020, your chart requests, and question and answer section. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. This is Jason when he first learned about Bitcoin margin trading on BitMEX.
Why? Why? Give it back! Give it back! Oh, give it back!
This is Jason 6 months later after signing up for Bybit with the Cracking Cryptocurrency referral link found in the description below. Don't make the same mistake as Jason. Sign up today at bybit.crackingcrypto. Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back. Thank you so much for holding through the break. Price currently trading at 73.06. A little bit of aggressive flow right here. Pretty aggressive flow to the downside. Volume delta is only about negative 1.1 million, so getting chewed up a little bit at 7,300, but we'll wait and see. Pretty aggressive flow came in over the last 5 minutes, right as we were going to break, actually. So good stuff. All right. Got the live chat popping. Let's see what you guys have to say. I'll do that before we get into the news. We'll just kind of watch this. Are you guys chewing your popcorn? The inverse Bitcoin chart looks great. Looks very, very bullish. Question here. As everyone believes recession is right around the corner, how should I diversify my money to hedge against the inflation rate of around 8%? When it comes to, like calculating exactly how much money you want to bring in or how much money you need to bring in, you can get very granular with your investments, with your diversification. There's all kinds of ways to do this. There's not a best way. I think that for me, to dive deep into this topic would take a little bit more time than I want to dedicate to just a quick answer. But what I will say is this. I'm very diversified. So I hold some crypto. I hold a lot of dividend stocks. I hold some investments in real estate. I have a couple passive income sources. I have a side hustle that makes money. And I work full time trading and doing this. Ooh, big sells. Liquidate them. Liquidate the non-believers. Wrecked them. Listen, absolutely diversify. When it comes to stocks, buy some foreign stocks, buy some foreign indexes. I think that's a great way to diversify. Buy some foreign currency. I think that's a good way. Look at currencies like, a lot of people are going to speculate and conjecture that, the American economy has, ran this large economic hegemony, but that is shifting due to other competing nation states like China, like Russia, and things like cryptocurrency being thrown in the mix makes the whole situation volatile. So I'll tell you this, anybody who you talk to who says they absolutely know the way that the world's going to go, they don't know. They don't know. Listen, the only thing that's certain in life is death. And we know we're going to die, and we can't gamble and win against death. So as I've said many, many times, you just have to gamble on something you can actually win. And I think that you should do so in a responsible manner. So I'm a big believer in dividend stocks. I'm also a big believer in cryptocurrency, but I don't hold a lot of altcoins. I hold mostly Bitcoin and the majors. And, I have a few of my moonshot investments, some small coins. I think that's a good way to do it. And then, I trade, my active form of income is from trading cryptocurrency. I also trade less. I trade stocks less. Like right now I have a trade on ACB. So fingers crossed. Didn't go with the options. I just went with spot stock on ACB. I buy stocks every single month. I buy some foreign currency every single month. I've got precious metals. I think just spreading your money out exposes you a lot less to individual risk and lets you kind of build that fair weather portfolio. And you can do a lot of research on this. Like you can, expose yourself. If you think that the stock market's going to recess, you can expose yourself to inverse ETFs. You can get short sell exposure without having to actually short sell. There's all kinds of pretty cool derivative financial instruments that have been created. You can also diversify by, for example, investing in foreign indexes, right? Or foreign stocks. So if you have the idea that China is just going to come in and booyah slap economically America and be, invest in Asian companies, invest in Chinese companies, buy some Chinese currency. I think the Russian ruble is a pretty good thing to stock up on once in a while. Things like that. There's all neat ways to diversify yourself. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Keep it simple and just consistently invest. Invest early and invest often and just invest, right? Build up a side hustle. Find something that you enjoy to do that can bring in money. For me, so I do leatherworking. I sell leatherworking sometimes. That brings in money. There's lots of things that you can do. There's lots of things that you can do to protect yourself. But just overall, just having it in your mind that there's no quick way to achieve wealth. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes consistency. Not only will you live a much better life, a much less stressed life, you will also, I think, be a wiser and happier person. And I think you'll be more profitable. That's been my experience anyways. When I started trading, when I started investing about 10 years ago, I had so many people telling me how to do it. Very similar. It's always the same, right? There's always people out there who are going to tell you exactly how to do it. And that's why we created Kraken Cryptocurrency. So I could teach people how to trade in a sustainable fashion, right? Not to tell them exactly what trade to take, although I do post my trades and the analysts do post their trades. And that's there. And we catch killer trades because we're good traders. But our main concern is educating people how to think for themselves, how to build a trading strategy for themselves, and my mental process at how I construct my trading strategies and how I approach the markets. I think that's better. I want to give people the fishing equipment and teach them how to fish, not continually toss them fishes. But we do serve sushi so that people aren't starving, right? Good concept. Double top, Wayne Arts buying weekly. Crypto Moses asks how to objectively determine the top and bottom of a range. That is impossible. It's impossible to know for sure what is the top of the market and what is the bottom of the market. So the better way to think of this, again, as in all things, is in probabilities. So you can use something like Bollinger Bands. You can use something like support and resistance. You can use something like VPSV. You can use something like the order books, like when you can see, because these things are dynamic. There's no one static level, right? Where people are like, the market's going to turn around at 72.20. Well, it can if the order book's very thick there and you get very aggressive market selling, but you kind of need those things to happen in concert with one another, right? So it's better to think in terms of probability. So for volatility expander's a really accurate indicator. It's really good. But you still go into it managing your risk, position sizing appropriately, and determining what your setups are going to be and where you're going to manage risk and what your invalidation levels are. So with trading, all we're dealing with is probabilities, right? And you want to increase your rate of being right as much as possible, and then you adjust your stop and target system to maximize your profitability. Most people do it completely opposite. Thank you so much, Edward Marin. I appreciate it, brother. Jack Brown asked, what is that indicator? Tensor charts, delta divergence. It is an indicator that tells you when the volume delta is significantly shifting from bullish order flow to bearish order flow, right? And they've got it tweaked. I know that you can see delta divergence. I think you can, number of intervals. Delta divergence first finds a new extreme for this moving session and then analyzes its order flow. So it determines an extreme of buying or selling, and then whenever you top that, it lets you know. So right here we had a threshold of selling, right? And here selling overcame that, aggressive order flow overcame that, and here it did again, and here it did again. That's why the market moved down there. So this was stop hunt, price moves down. 6.7 thousand Bitcoin to the sell side compared to 3,000 Bitcoin to the buy side. Justin Shark, Stop it, guys. You guys are funny. Was a Bitcoin short on the 2-day with an entry of 7,500, stop loss at 80.80, and TP1 at 68.80 and OK trade. But take a gander. I mean, it sounds reasonable to me. 2-day. I don't really like the 2-day. That's me. Maybe that's just me. Let's take a gander here. I think that looks like a fine trade. You've got a compressed range. You're targeting the top of the range at 7,500. Closing basis, you would have been targeting the 21 exponential moving average on the 2-day potentially. You've got hidden bearish divergence that confirmed that as well. I think that's a fine trade. And if you're wrong, that just means that the trend is likely going to flip bullish on the 2-day. And that's okay. You're going to be wrong at some point trading in the direction of the dominant trend because the trend will switch. So you continue to do that. And then you accept that losing trade or that couple of losing trades that you get toward the end of your win streak. And then you just shift, pivot, shift direction. I think that sounds like a fine trade. You'd have to send me like, so the real answer though is what strategy did you utilize to put that trade on? What's the hit rate of that strategy, right? What's your stop and target system consistently? What's your invalidation level? What are your rules for early exit? Those are the things that won't really affect maybe this individual trade, but that will affect the long-term profitability, which you know, brother. You guys are tearing Mr. Kirby up. I got nothing to say. You guys have said it all. Oh, shoot, DLIVE crate. And what would I do without my team, man? They really keep me on point. All right, guys. Bitcoin's price starts moving. I get excited. You guys are chatting. I could have sworn I put some lemons in here. Well, shoot, let's put some more lemons in there. All right, distributing lemons to our DLive viewers and followers. Thank you guys so much for the support. Good luck in advance. Damp it. Side hustle, like my organic vegetables thing. Tezos is a major now. Let's see here. Are we at war with Iran? Whoa, I don't know. More tendies. Finally, I can make a lemonade. Let's see here. Mbate asks, what do I think the effect of Ethereum switching to proof of stake will have on price? It depends on if proof of stake is successful. I think that Ethereum is a pretty neato petito blockchain. I think that Ethereum is doing a lot. I think that Ethereum has a lot of public exposure. And so when people are looking at building decentralized applications, and when decentralized applications become more mainstream and you have companies that are adopting blockchain and building decentralized applications and looking for turnkey solutions, I think that they're going to be like, duh, Ethereum. So I think that Ethereum, for all my issues with Ethereum as far as governance goes, and as far as, a reliable, non-centralized blockchain, the commercial applications of Ethereum are quite large. And that's the huge battle. You got the huge battle for the decentralized application network, right? Everyone and their sisters trying to build the bigger, better blockchain, right? Because nobody can beat Bitcoin. Like, Bitcoin is the standard when it comes to security and store value. You can't. I just don't see how it's going to be possible to beat Bitcoin. We've already built faster blockchains. We've already built more private blockchains. We've already built decentralized applications. We've already built second layer solutions on all these other blockchains. Nobody cares. Where's all the money going? Where's all the investment going? Where's it going to continue to go? It's going to go into Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin represents something that a lot of people just won't get through their heads. Bitcoin is not about the best features. Bitcoin is not about cutting edge. Bitcoin is about Bitcoin. It's secure. It's a store of value. It's supposed to be decentralized money. It's a settlement layer. There's, this, I could go on and on and on and on and on. But it's not intended to do or designed to do what a lot of these other blockchains think that blockchains need to do to be successful. And so that opens up a wide swath of potential competition and potential market share for these other chains to accomplish. And I think that obviously Ethereum, or the idea of building decentralized applications on a decentralized computing network, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. As to like which one will emerge from the ashes victorious, nobody knows, man. So, take a punt on quite a few of them, For example, I think like Algorand is pretty neat. I think Ethereum's pretty neat. There's a lot of other chains that are neat. There's a lot of good, and all of them have good, brilliant people working for them, good, brilliant development, good management. Not all of them, but the ones that I'm interested in. So I think it's foolish not to have Ethereum. I think it's foolish not to be somewhat bullish on Ethereum. I have my issues with Ethereum as far as its decentralization. I have my issues with the decisions of the Ethereum Foundation. I've had issues since the DAO hack and the Ethereum Classic split. But the other issue that I have with Ethereum is supply, right? And so all of these things aren't like deal breakers for Ethereum. It just means it's different. And we need to have that kind of conversation. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of people are just like black and white, and they're also not very nuanced on these subjects. So they hear Ethereum, and you have, big Ethereum believers, and they're like, well, Ethereum's better than Bitcoin. Ethereum's going to overtake Bitcoin. I think that's nonsense. But then you have, even I've struggled with this, and I've come around to, I've started to come around a little bit on Ethereum. I think that the kind of Ethereum's a scam and Ethereum's evil that you get from a lot of Bitcoin maximalists, which I definitely weigh in from that camp. I think that they're foolish, man, because you can make it very, very simple and just view cryptocurrency. I think people view cryptocurrency too passionately. And they just need to step back and look at it like they were investing in a stock. And to not say that, well, Ethereum's got a pretty darn good shot at being a huge, much, much huger thing. Pretty silly for not saying that. Yeah. I mean, I like Cardano too. I like VeChain. I hold both of those. Basically, same concept, same idea. And we don't know who's going to emerge victorious, so you can take. If you don't know, you can just invest, right? You can take punts, and you have to understand if you're investing in cryptocurrency, you're not investing in any traditional financial market. There are no limiters. There's no protection for you. There's almost no regulation. There is no guarantee of success. All you have is the possibility of absolutely outsized venture capital style reward. And because you have that, you also have unlimited downside, right? Well, it is limited. It goes to zero, right? So you don't have unlimited downside. Whereas, we would say unlimited downside if you were short selling something with on a traditional exchange where you could get margin called and you could end up owing, literally as much money as your position could go down. Anyways, we've got, that was the NSA kicking in my head there. We've got a lot to talk about in today's cryptocurrency segment. So obviously, hot in the news today is going to be the situation over in Iran. So I do want to touch briefly on that with today's segment of cryptocurrency. Let's go. All right. This is not the story that you're looking for. This is the story that you're looking for. There we go. Okay. Okay, so our first story today is coming to us from U.Today. Bitcoin's price reaches 29,000 in Iran as Mike Novogratz called Bitcoin digital gold. I told you guys. Bitcoin's price would hit 29,500 this year. Spoiler warning, it already did. Boom! Big reveal. Yeah, baby. Turn myself into a pickle. All right. Bitcoin surging in price. As we've seen, pretty reactionary surge in price in the midst of what many consider a severe escalation of tensions in the Middle East between the United States and Iran. Now, this is said to have according to Mike Novogratz, this is a clear example of what we can expect and what a lot of people have questioned. How will Bitcoin react in the face of global recession or global uncertainty? Because we haven't really seen it, Bitcoin has almost completely existed in a fair weather economy, right? Emerging after the bottoms of the financial crisis. And Bitcoin has only existed in a pretty booming stock market, right? We can go back. The only correlation we could potentially go back and look at is when the stock market did take that hit at the end of the year. But we saw the rally and absolute boom, blast resurgence. Most stocks opening at all-time highs this morning, ladies and gentlemen. All-time high. You don't even want to see my Robinhood account. I mean, the thing is a diagonal line, like the thing is about to go vertical, okay? Now, so this is potentially, according to Mike Novogratz, this is a good example of how we can expect Bitcoin to react amidst global uncertainty. We can actually expect its value to go up. And this proves its value proposition as a store of value because people do flock to it when there is global uncertainty, right? It's a good thing. It's what we want to see. We want to see people have faith in the price of Bitcoin. So just hours after a United States airstrike killed several top Iranian commanders in Iraq, and with World War III trending on Twitter I think people need to calm down a little bit, but with the topic on people's minds and on people's tongues, the price of Bitcoin in Iran on local Bitcoins rose absolutely insanely to 983 million Iranian rials. That's roughly $29,500. Let me repeat. The price of physical Bitcoin, physical delivery in Iran went from whatever the price was at that time, 6,000, 6,900 to 29,500. That was the outsized demand that individuals had for the price of Bitcoin in Iran. Because it's not as simple. Like people in America and maybe in the UK are really spoiled. You guys got your exchange. You guys just go to Coinbase, do some market buying. It's not that easy in every part of the world, right? It's not that easy in every part of the world. Now, that's a 4x, okay? Just put that in terms because people like numbers and like the word X, right? It's a 4x over the current market value of around 7,300, a little bit lower now, obviously. Now, in the primary markets, in the regular markets, Bitcoin did spike about 5% overnight. And this was a pretty big reactionary movement off the bottom after just breaking down from 7,000 yesterday. Now, Galaxy Digital CEO and infamous Bitcoin bull you might have heard him in the Bitcoin Please Go to Moon song, Mike Novogratz. Now, he commented on Twitter down here saying, pretty funny, but it's pretty short, but nice to see $BTC react to global uncertainty, #digital gold. He forgot to say #golden hold, baby. Now, this recent surge in Bitcoin's price, although we talked about order book and market psychology, makes a lot of sense. A lot of retail going short last night, and what do they get? They get punished for it because that's a lot of liquidity to just snap up, get people excited about the long, take it back down. Now, it is interesting, though, that this does seem to come right on the heels of this escalating geopolitical conflict. And it does, I believe, reinforce the Bitcoin as digital gold idea, and that it is a globally accessible hedging instrument, right? So wherever you are in the world, if you feel any sort of uncertainty or instability, you can move into Bitcoin, and it's relatively easy. It's nearly instantaneous to take ownership of the Bitcoin, and you can feel secure. And that's exactly what we want when we're talking about number go up and when we're talking about global adoption. The more that people trust Bitcoin, right? Did you see people buying, I don't know, did you see people buying Tron? No. You saw people buying Bitcoin because Bitcoin. Safe. Now, indeed, it should be noted that both gold and Bitcoin are actually on somewhat of a tear. Now, obviously the last couple hours or so for Bitcoin are a little different, but on a pretty big tear following the news coming out of Iran, which also happened to send oil prices surging. I talked about Bentley crude, so much toward the middle of 2019, late 2019. Now, these hit highs, at least with Bentley crude, crude oil hit highs that we haven't seen since September of 2019 when it last spiked up, when a missile strike on the Saudi Arabian oil refinery hit the news. Now, according to, I do disagree with this. According to analyst Maddie Greenspan, the Iranian Bitcoin market is way too small to single-handedly cause a significant move in Bitcoin's global spot price. I think that's wrong. I think that is wrong. There's a lot of miners in Iran. Maybe not a significant amount, but correct me where I go astray here. But we've talked about this before. So just because their market, we have no idea how much Bitcoin is located there, right? We don't know how much Bitcoin is located there, and the idea that small individual actors can have an outsized effect, a very quick, pronounced effect to move price up 5% in an overall low liquidity market compared to traditional markets, I think is. Maddie, you say good things sometimes, but this is pretty silly, right? Like, you're just like, well, it's Iran. They can't move the market. Really, dude? Really? Have you been to Singapore? It's pretty small. Now, this would lead one to speculate whether fears of a major war breaking out are overblown and not the primary causes of Bitcoin's bullish run up today. As I said, it makes a lot of sense market psychology wise. This is exactly the kind of ranging behavior that we've seen out of Bitcoin. We talked about the reversion of the mean. This is just a classic reversion of the mean strategy and exactly what market movers would do as the range progresses. High volatility, little movements, little movements, little movements, little movements, little movements. Boom, everybody's liquidated. Little movements, little movements, little movements. Boom, everybody's liquidated. This is how the market works in these types of environments. Now, or is it indeed the case that the markets have reacted to the prospect of a military confrontation between Iran and its allies, which, by the way, include China and Russia, and that Bitcoin is therefore being treated as a safe haven asset during these troubled times when we're talking about a proxy war between the United States and Russia and China, right? Let's be very clear about what we're talking about here. Back in May of last year, local Bitcoins did actually become unavailable for the residents of Iran, which was historically one of the more popular markets for peer-to-peer exchange of Bitcoin, especially in foreign nations. Now, the people of Iran obviously are subject to harsh economic sanctions imposed by the the United States. And we've seen that a lot of them have turned to Bitcoin in recent years as an alternative means of relief from these financial restrictions, very similar to what we see in Venezuela, very similar to the excitement that we see in Russia about cryptocurrency and blockchain. Now, since then, the Iranian section of the local Bitcoins platform has been restored, and it would now seem that some within the country are even willing to pay a monster premium to secure Bitcoin during these uncertain times. So this is a big topic, and we're going to leave it at that. So please feel free to let me know how you feel about this in the comment section. I know that there's going to be a lot of passionate ideas and opinions on both sides. And the only thing I'd like to say is that, listen, guys, it's absolutely fine to have virulent opinions on both sides, right? The world is not black and white. It is a Rorschach painting of gray. That's all I'll say. But I think that the best thing for me, and I think potentially the best thing for a lot of my viewers, is don't try to get so caught up in the kind of argumentative aspect that conversations like these can bring about, right? So what I mean by that is you can argue about, well, who's right and who's wrong, or, what's going to happen, or what should be done, or you can kind of get into the weeds with that kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with having your political opinions. But I think that anybody can agree on this. You can look at these events that occur that generally we're going to have very little control over. You can look at these global events as they occur. And again, as I said before, with diversifying your portfolio, look for patterns that happen geopolitically and try to figure out a thesis for how you feel the markets will move in the future, and then place your bets. Remember, there's nothing in life, there's nothing in investment that's certain, okay? You want certainty, you're just going to have to wait until the day the Grim Reaper comes for your number, my friend. But you can win, right? You can gamble on something that you can win at in life, okay? And you can do so in a secure, you can do so in a consistently secure manner, right? You can do so in a way that is tested. You can do so in a way that exposes you to less risk. You can do so in a way that maximizes your percentage or your hit rate of winning. And at the end of the day, we know this, just diversifying your portfolio and having exposure to certain things, having exposure to certain markets does put you in the right place for success, right? I would argue that people who are positioned in the market, who are losing money, are still overall in a better position than people who have no exposure to the markets. They're just stuffing cash under their mattress because that cash will never grow and they will find themselves a continual victim over and over and over again of inflation. With your money in the market, you have a lot of access to things. For example, you can off-write you can off-write losses onto your taxes. You have the exposure if price does go up. There's a lot of complex financial instruments where you can diversify your trading and help to protect and hedge yourself. So much money to be made out there, guys. And there's so many good ways to position yourselves in the markets, in all markets. Go out there and get some money, guys. Don't get into the weeds. In other news, Telegram has told the SEC to shove it. Telegram has told the SEC to shove it. Today is January 3rd, 2020, which not only marks the day when Bitcoin hit $29,500, swoosh, big reveal. It makes it the second, hold on just a second here. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to. Guess I'm gonna. There we go. Thanks, guys. All right, so we'll talk about this a little bit. Telegram does refuse to meet the SEC's demands. So if you guys are unaware, Telegram had a big ICO last year called TON for its TON. I believe it's Telegram Open Network or Tor Open Network or something like that. Don't remember what the name of their coin was. Telegram Open Network, yeah. Now, the U.S., so they're under fire from the SEC, and they have recently requested that they hand over the bank records or how they spent the $1.7 billion that they raised during the ICO fundraising event, right? And Telegram said, no. So let's see here. According to the SEC, their request for the bank records, quote, are relevant to the efforts that Telegram has made to ensure the viability and profitability of the grams it sold, which is relevant to the efforts of others prong of the Howey test in determining whether the grams are security. So according to the SEC, they need this information so that they can determine whether Telegram is a security. Now, all of this actually does make sense. This is actually all quite legal, but it's easy to kind of look at this and be like, wait a second, you need to know how we spent our money so you can tell us if you're going to fine us for being a security or not. Well played, SEC. Well played. But Telegram's not playing ball. According to the SEC, Telegram has handed over some incomplete documents of their bank records showing only credits and not debits. So just showing how they got money in and not how they spent it. Now, Telegram does have Telegram's CEO or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Where is it? Right here. I was just reading this. Here we go. The SEC, so the deposition of Telegram CEO Pavel Durov is going to take place next Tuesday, and the SEC wanted these documents. And according to Telegram, they're like, no, we're not going to do that. Not going to do that. Telegram's counsel told the SEC that Telegram would only send information concerning payments from Telegram to third parties related to the Telegram Open Network project are going to be sent over. And the SEC says the refusal to provide this information is deeply troubling. So, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Telegram's doing something shady? Do you think that Telegram actually just has privacy and, the sanctity of their customers' records? And they, I mean, honestly, like, it's you guys invested in us. You guys have faith in us. We'll build you a reliable product. Don't ask us what we're doing with the money. It's none of your business. We're doing what we need to do with the money to build a product. Or are they just, are they just sailing on yachts and cruising and just killing it? You guys tell me. Let me know in the comment section down. Now, this leads me to today's call to action. Do you guys know what today is? Do you know what today is? Not your keys, not your coins, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second annual Proof of Keys Day. This was popularized last year by Trace Mayer. He of the great hair and acute verbal knowledge. What do you, sorry, alerts. Sorry, got a little distracted there with that alert. But today's Proof of Keys Day, guys. So very, very simply, Proof of Keys is an idea conceived by Trace Mayer. And the idea is that, hey, we need to make sure that the exchanges are not insolvent, essentially, right? That they can actually operate, that they're not like, so for example, we looked at what we talked about with HitBTC, which are essentially utilizing the deposits of their customers to trade with, essentially, is the speculation, and that they are actually insolvent. So if everybody did a bank run or a Bitcoin run, crypto run on HitBTC, they would not have the funds to distribute to everybody because, although we have wallets labeled, for example, right? Like we have the Binance wallet and blah, blah, blah. We can track all this on the blockchain. It's anybody's guess as to exactly how and where the exchanges keep all of their funds and exactly how they would disseminate that how they would disseminate those reserves to individuals should they be basically margin called, not margin called, but deposit called. Right? Let's call it deposit called. So Proof of Keys is an idea that the community needs to show support and strength for their own keys, and every day, individuals need to withdraw their funds from the exchange. That's the entire concept behind Proof of Keys. Prove to the exchanges that they don't have all the power. Prove to them that privacy and security means something to us as utilizers of cryptocurrency networks, of the exchanges, and make the exchanges prove that they actually have the crypto that they say they do to justify the volume in the order books. And if everybody consistently did this, we wouldn't have to worry about the BitMEX research, Alameda research, Bitwise report, for example, that all of the volume is fake, that the majority of cryptocurrency volume is fake, that wash trading is fake. If individuals were to keep their funds in cold storage, this would not be an issue. And I think that it's a good opportunity for individuals to just once a year, because I know that unfortunately, a lot of people are just keeping their cryptocurrency on exchanges, even though they know that's a no-no. They'll learn when they get burned. I think it's good practice, right? So for those of you who aren't keeping your funds in cold storage, like what if you need to move quickly in a hurry? Like what if you got an email tomorrow that Binance had been hacked and just coins are just leaking out, man? You better hurry, get your funds out of there or it's not going to be safe. Well, if you've never set up a wallet before, or if you've done it maybe once, you had a few drinks before you did it, you don't really remember, where did you put that private key anyways? Geez, I wrote a seed phrase down. It's somewhere. You don't be that guy. You don't want to be that guy. You want to, very easily be able to be like, okay, there's a situation. I need to withdraw my funds. I need my funds. Go to the exchange. Boom, bam, done. Easy, right? I highly recommend getting a Ledger Nano X. Big suggestion. Keep keys good too. A lot of other decent turnkey solutions out there. I just think the Ledger Nano X is the best turnkey solution for a hardware wallet. But you should be familiar with how to set up a paper wallet, right? You want to be the person. We're early stages of adoption here. So you want to have the knowledge to explain to somebody. You want to have the proficiency yourself. You don't want to be the person who's just, you don't want your family to ask you, oh, you're into crypto, right? Well, can you explain to me how this and that works? And you're like, well, actually, I just gamble magic internet money on Bittrex. You don't want to be that person, man. Like, why are you here if, you're not investing yourself and kind of stretching yourself and growing yourself? So I invite all you guys to participate in this. I am going to leave a little bit of my funds on Bybit, but after I close out my alt trades, I will be withdrawing my funds, including my Litecoin, actually, that I have established my position. We'll be withdrawing to my Ledger Nano X and returning the funds tomorrow morning. I did it last year. I'll do it this year. I enjoy doing it. I think it's good for everybody to do. It's funny that it's just so funny that this tends to like coincide with the market dipping, right? Because if you guys remember proof of keys last year, market dipped pretty hard. Bitcoin dipped pretty hard. And Bitcoin is known for dipping pretty hard in January. It's the January blues. Everybody knows that. Okay. All right. It's getting pretty late. I wanted to talk about the Lightning Network, but we'll talk about that some more tomorrow. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about proof of keys tomorrow as well. But we're kind of running out of time. And so let's see what you guys got for questions. Let's check back in here with the price of Bitcoin. Okay, came down to today's point of control. And again, we're just consolidating in between the overhead point of control and the lower point of control. Pretty swift pullback there from the 21 EMA. And remember, we talked about this. So for the guys watching along, if you guys want to trade long to the upside, we talked about the two kind of dip points, taking bids at the 21 EMA, taking bids at the 21 EMA, taking bids at the 55 EMA, right? So this was potentially your entry opportunity for a long, or your take profit opportunity for a short. Either way. So that's something I need to do. I need to go update my position. So let's just check out your questions here real quick. Make sure I don't forget anything. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't think I'm going to be able to look at charts. I just don't think we have enough time. So let me answer some questions. I answered that. Wendy asked, how do these brokers make money? All kinds of ways. They have their own trading desks, their own investments. They make money off mobile apps. They make money off interest. They make money off lending. All kinds of ways. Jap says, as I still don't trade yet, can you explain a bit more about going short, please? I guess this is put your coins on price going down instead of up. Can you explain it a little bit more? Here's the easy way to think about it. Okay. So say you think that, obviously, if you buy something and its value goes up, you have made money. Your investment has earned, you've received return on income, right? But let's say that you think that price is going to go down, right? Now, there are two ways to do this, right? Or two ways to take advantage of this. Let's say that you are holding Bitcoin and you feel that price is going to go down. Well, you can sell right now and plan to buy back at a lower price because you have the idea, you have the trading thesis, the idea, the conviction, the price is going to move down. So obviously from where price is right now or wherever you have that thought to where it eventually bottoms at is going to represent a percentage difference, right? You know, it's like 5% lower or 6% lower, 10% lower, 20% lower, whatever. But because we have this thing called intuition and what are actually known in the market as derivatives, we can create a contract that gives you the opportunity to actually profit off of that, right? So it's the same concept, right? If you sell here and buy back lower, if you sell here and buy back 5% cheaper, you have 5% more Bitcoin, right? Because you were able to buy, you have the same amount of money, right? So whatever, if you sell, let's say you have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin at current price, if you sell right now, you'll have $1,000. If price goes down 5% and you buy $1,000 of the Bitcoin, you will be getting 5% more Bitcoin than Chad up at the top, right? So you've made that difference in profit. So shorting is no different, right? Think of it like this. Let's say that I want to short Bitcoin and I don't have any, right? Or let's say I don't have a whole lot. I don't have as much as I'd like to. It doesn't really matter how much I have. I want to short Bitcoin. You have Bitcoin that you're not going to sell, right? You may or may not think price is going to go down. Doesn't matter. But you have no intentions to sell your Bitcoin. You know, you're a long-term hodler. You're not interested in trading. You're just, I bought Bitcoin back in 2011 and I ain't selling no matter what. Doesn't matter what it does, up, down, left, right, or sideways. I'm in this thing to 1 million or $1. Doesn't matter. But you're not an idiot. You're not interested in buying or selling, but you are interested in interest. Okay. So how about this? I come to you and I'm like, hey, Bob, your name's Bob. I'll tell you what, I think price is going to go down. And you've got some Bitcoin over there. You're not going to do anything with it, right? It's just sitting there. It's bugging you, right? You don't want to sell it. Can I borrow it? Right? Let me borrow it and I will give it back and I'll pay you interest, right? Cool. You like that? And Bob says to himself, well, Justin seems like a trustworthy character. Sure, I'll loan you some Bitcoin and you'll pay me interest, right? Good deal for both of us. I take that Bitcoin and I immediately sell it to somebody else, right? I immediately sell it to somebody else. So you weren't interested in selling your Bitcoin, Bob. You let me borrow it. I did the selling for you. I immediately sold your Bitcoin to somebody else, all right? Now, if price goes down, I can buy it back cheaper. I have far more Bitcoin, right? I have 5% more Bitcoin if price goes down 5%. Let's say I buy it 5% lower. So I buy it back from the person I sold it to. I give Bob, you, back the Bitcoin that I borrowed from you. I've still got the 5% in profit. Peel off a little bit of that and give it to you as interest because I couldn't have done that alone myself. You gave me the Bitcoin I needed to do it. You let me borrow your Bitcoin. I immediately sold it to somebody else, waited for it to go down, bought it back, returned it to you, paid you interest, kept the difference in profit, right? Now, in the markets, the exchange will help you do this because they will actually loan you the funds. All you need is margin. You just need a little bit down, right? So in this scenario, Bybit or BitMEX or Deribit, they're Bob, right? You go to Bob and you're like, hey, Bob, Bybit, I see you got some Bitcoin over there. You're not doing anything with that Bitcoin, are you? Let me borrow some of that Bitcoin. And then, by the way, I want to sell it. Can you sell it to somebody on my behalf? They do that. They do that for, depending on limit or market order. They might even pay you to do it if you do it with a limit order. They sell it to somebody else. You make the difference in prices profit. Right. But that's how, if you conceptualize it as working behind the scenes like that, that's what's happening. You're selling and buying back cheaper, giving the principal back. You're keeping and you're paying interest and you're keeping the difference in profit. That's really all. It's, if you think of it very, very simply, borrowing Bitcoin from somebody, selling it to somebody, buying it back from them cheaper, giving the principal back to whoever loaned it to you, keeping the excess Bitcoin, and paying a little bit of interest. That's the easy way to think about it. I think it's the easiest way to think about it. Let me know if that's helpful, my friend. We can do the same kind of concept about options as well. MBay22. I already answered that. Okay. I think that's everything. No problem, man. All right, gentlemen, it's getting crazy in the chat. I absolutely love you guys. You guys are absolutely fantastic, but all good things must come to a conclusion. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. It's been great spending the last 2 hours with you guys, breaking down price, talking about price predictions. Make sure that you guys trade safely. Make sure that whatever strategy you are applying to the market is something that you've back tested, that you know works, that you've actually tested with live capital. There is years and years and years of market activity ahead of us. So you do not need to get suckered either direction in the books right now. I am still short. I will be putting on longs at the areas that I've talked about, and I'll be managing my position in the group with the premium group members. So, stuff on my table. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If you guys support what we're doing here and you do enjoy the content, make sure to give the video a like over on YouTube, subscribe there as well. If you're over on Twitch or DLIVE, you guys can give us a follow. If you've got Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free on Twitch. Jeff Bezos's money, supporting crypto. We love it. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, or death threats, you can leave them in the comment section down below. I would like to thank today's show sponsor, Coygo. Make sure to check them out at coygo.crackingcryptocurrency.com for an easy turnkey solution to managing multiple exchange accounts from the privacy and security of your desktop. And also today's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, Spectre Security Coin. Make sure to check them out at spectresecurity.io for all your security needs. And they have a channel in our Discord if you would like more information about their project. They also have their own pop in Discord as well. Leave a comment down below if you guys would like to be entered into a chance to win tomorrow's crypto comment giveaway. And if you guys would like to trade along with us, if you guys would like access to our online learning academy, access to our proprietary indicator suite, access to our premium signals and our premium chat channels, as well as everything else that premium membership gives you access to, check out all the information at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And thank you guys, by the way, as always, for making us the fastest growing, probably not YouTube channel, but fastest growing trading and education group in cryptocurrency on the internet. Highly appreciate that. You guys are a pleasure to work with every day, and it is an honor. And 2020 is, I have so much excitement for this year. It's going to be such a good year. There's so much opportunity ahead. So make sure, grab the bull by the horns, quite literally, guys. And all those resolutions that you made or thought about making, it's not too late. If you didn't make any resolutions yet and you haven't sat down and thought of ways to make 2020 work for you to make your life more positive this year, do that. Do it. Do it right now. You guys can. Sit down, make it happen. Make it happen. The world is yours. Reach out and seize it, guys. Only thing that's certain in life is death. So gamble on something you can win, which is changing your life. You can do it right now. I'll see you guys on Monday. It has come to my attention that some of you guys miss my presence on the weekend. So make sure to hop in the Discord to stay connected. It's as much about the community and the conversation as it is about the show. Be safe out there, guys. Trade safely. And I will see you guys on Monday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, the next Breaking Bitcoin episode. Be good.